Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the podcast where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And we are coming to you from the South Side this week. We will be recapping the July 28th, 2026 game between the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox. It was a Tuesday night, $5 Tuesday. At guaranteed, at Rate Field, and yeah, the Yankees were in town all week. They had I think 4 against the White Sox, and then 3 over the weekend against the Cubbies. So I wonder if they switched hotels. I don't know, but it was. I think we always try to catch the Yankees at least once a year when they come in. So we did it again.
Yeah, we've seen them a fair amount for the podcast. So
yep.
Never a bad time, except maybe for this lineup of the Yankees. Although, Jack, I feel like we saw another bad Yankees lineup years ago too, when they were just struck with injury. So we can talk about that later, I guess. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird time to catch the Yankees. Before we get into all that, it was the trade deadline today, and man, it was. This is one of the most active trade deadlines I can remember. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it just seemed... I was out of... I feel like I've been away for the last couple trade deadlines, so I feel like I've missed it. But this one seemed pretty crazy. We were both at work, both trying to keep up with the wheelings and dealings. The Cubs made some moves. Our over under... I meant to look this up, Jack. I think we did do one... this year for Cubs over-unders of top 30 guys in the...
we did.
Yeah, I know we did it last year as well. Why can't I find it for this year? But here we go. Over-unders, Cubs. You know what? Maybe we only did that for last year because I'm not seeing it. We did the White Sox 30 prospects called up this year.
We did not do that because Jeremy, that totally rings a bell, but I think it was just must have been last year.
It was 2 years ago. Yeah. Well, anyway, the Cubs they've traded. It's just as fitting because I didn't actually count the amount of guys they traded, but they've definitely traded 3 to 4 of their top in their top 30 prospects list. So
yeah,
they traded Jefferson Rojas for Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor. I think Moises Ballesteros went for Ryan Zephyr-John, amongst some others. They got Kevin Gossman. It's weird. They gave up less for Kevin Gossman. I mean, I guess it makes sense than Ryan Zephyr-John. In theory, but the Cubs made a lot of moves, and Jack, I was just saying, what's the point of acquiring these guys when we've already gotten their autographs? So I was we both got Clay Holmes earlier in the year. I got Ryan Zephyr-John when the Sox played the Angels. So that's kind of 2 right there. Tyrone Taylor has never looked like he was gonna sign, and Gossman sounded like a guy who would sign, or I feel like I've seen people have success with him, but I think he won asshole of the game when we saw him. So I don't know what the outlook will be for him.
Yeah, he also feels like the type of guy who would have an escort to the hotel because you figure he'll probably be staying at the Zachary at least the first couple weeks he's here. Yeah. And that might be a Carlos Santana type of deal where they have security escort him. Yeah.
The question there is will he somehow get a place or arrangements before the season is over?
Right.
He seems like a guy high profile enough that he would probably not want to live in a hotel, but I don't know. So we'll have to see about that. But I know it's we get these guys, the Cubs get these guys, and it's actually harder to get them because they're coming from the hotel. So like,
yes.
yeah, and I don't fully believe that Tyrone Taylor will sign out by the hotel either. So we'll see.
That's another guy we've asked multiple times though.
Yeah, totally. So Braxton Garrett maybe. I don't think. Jesus, I might have gotten Braxton Garrett also. I actually think I did. I think I did get him.
Okay.
So there you go. That's another one in that list. So that's too bad, but I'll have to double check on that one. But yeah. So yeah, that was a thing. I don't know. It was a weird day. Like for a second, the Cubs it said that they got Reed Detmers, and then that was kind of pulled back.
Yeah.
A little bummed about them trading Jefferson Rojas. But
he was a number 2 prospect, right?
Yeah. And but they pretty much I was looking at they pretty much only traded guys who were blocked at the major league level. Although I was hoping that Rojas was going to learn how to play like left field or something and might take that spot next year. But anyway, obviously not complaining about the Cubs making moves. And honestly, the only one, like Ballesteros, he was a fun story while he was here. But I think you kind of saw, enough of him, or you saw a bit of him. And he wasn't going to be a catcher. So you're pretty much locked in at DH, and then you think about just like the longevity of his body type, and so it's like, okay, I can let that guy go, So
yeah. Mo Baller. It was a fun couple months for him, I guess, for Cubs fans. But a good time to sell high, I think.
I guess. Although I was wondering if they did sell high on him. I feel like his last go round, like
maybe they should have traded him sooner.
I kind of feel like they sold low on him, to be honest, but I don't know. I'm a little too close to this situation. So so that's what the Cubs did. Let's see.
One other thing, I guess while we're on the topic though, Jeremy, is that I have Thursday off of work this week, and I had taken it off specifically because I saw that makeup game against the Blue Jays was happening on that day on Thursday this week. But now they've traded Gausman. I knew I wasn't going to get him anyway. They traded Dalton Varsho today to the Astros, and honestly, half the reason I wanted to go to that makeup game was so I could get his dad's autograph, Gary Varsho. And so I don't think Gary Varsho's going to come to that game just to check out the Blue Jays on Thursday. So that's not gonna happen. And they traded Jeff Hoffman too. I think they traded him to the Twins, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting. I haven't bought a ticket for that game. I'm on the fence about it. The prices were a little higher than I kind of thought they would be today, so I'll keep an eye on it. And honestly, if the weather's nice, I'll probably just end up going. But it'll be weird to see a depleted Twins team possibly facing former teammate Kevin Gausman on Thursday.
Yeah, depleted Blue Jays team, right? Like, but the weird thing about the Blue Jays thing is like, so they traded Gausman to the Cubs, and it seemed like maybe that was like their like white flag sort of thing. But then they get Jose Soriano, who's arguably better than Gausman, and who the Cubs wanted. So it almost feels like they duped us. Like I almost was wondering if they were going to include some of those prospects they got from the Cubs in the Soriano deal. Now, granted, they paid a lot for him. Actually, Jack, do you know who they traded for Jose Soriano?
Jeremy, I'm sorry, I had forgotten that Soriano went to the Jays. No, who did they get?
I think I maybe said this to you off the air, but there was this this like case breaker like card guy that I followed or that I like broke with, and he was from like North Carolina or something, and he had kind of like an accent, and the guy who they traded was like, I don't know if he was the Blue Jays' number one prospect, but he was like a number one. He was a first round draft pick at shortstop. His name is Arjun Namala.
I've heard of this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the breaker guy called him Arjun Namila. So it's kind of sad. I guess let's see. So he'll be with he'll be with the Angels now. So it's not like we'll see him more times than if he were with the Blue Jays, but Arjun Namila is now on the move from the Blue Jays to the Angels.
Yeah, that's a cable guy special right there. That's like Angel Arhoon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If Cable Guy was like from the South, so
Right.
so yeah. The other thing I was gonna say, the Twins. You did mention the Twins like decided to become buyers, which I don't know. I guess you can like accept that because of the AL Central, but like I was pissed off at the Twins because I wanted the Cubs to try to get Joe Ryan, and they obviously didn't put Joe Ryan on the trading block. And honestly, I feel like that might have like kind of messed up the Cubs deadline plans. And so like I'm actively rooting against the Twins now for the rest of the season. I hope they like completely tank the AL Central, and the White Sox just beat them going away. But super annoying. It's like, who told you guys to be buyers? Like, you shouldn't be buyers. But like, there was a lot of other teams that bought like kind of unexpectedly or kind of confusingly. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one is a little frustrating, I guess, if you're a Cubs fan. The Brewers didn't really pick up too many exciting guys. They got Dustin May, who we've asked for an autograph a couple times, I think, and who has completely ignored us. Yeah, his numbers I think are okay lately. Overall this year, they're not that great. I'm also not sure he can stay healthy for a postseason run. But we'll see. I also got JoJo Romero, who I think is going to be coming back from an appendectomy. And they got Antonio Senzatella. For May and Romero, they had to give up 2 top 20 prospects. I don't really know much about those guys. I think it was like their number 11 and number 13 prospect. And yeah, a couple guys outside of their top 30 for Senzatella. So it wasn't Tarek Skubal. The Brewers are one of the teams that had really been mentioned with him. I think Pat Murphy made some kind of statement about it today. But it is what it is. So hopefully those guys can help him a little bit down the stretch.
Yeah, it was funny when I saw, because feel like the Senzatella trade came in pretty late towards the deadline, close to the deadline. And Jack, little gamesmanship. I mean, I would not be excited about Senzatella either. But it's kind of funny. Like, I almost wonder if like the Brewers were like, okay, we got May and we got Romero, and then they saw that the Cubs made a couple moves, and then they're like, oh man, now we got to get someone else, and then they ended up with like Antonio Senzatella, and didn't seem like a very exciting pickup. So it's kind of funny to think maybe they were they were kind of like nudged into having to reach for him.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, for the sake of transparency, I have in early September, I have like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off the week before Labor Day, right? And the Brewers are in town that week. I think they're playing a Monday through Thursday series. I'm kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself that week, and I was like, it's possible that if Skubal gets traded to the Brewers, he might start one of those games, so I need to like figure that out and line that up, like what I'm going to do. And then that all just got dashed when the Dodgers got Skubal. So it doesn't matter, but like that was legitimately at one point a thought that was going through my head was, I hope he'll pitch in Chicago. If he does, I have to see this game. But it didn't happen. So it's fine.
It kind of feels like he wanted to go to the Dodgers, and like they just told the Tigers to just take whatever deal the Dodgers were giving. But it's just a bummer. But who knows? He has had like some like clunkers, I think, like so like who knows if he's gonna be the guy that everyone's expecting him to be.
Yeah. I guess our last one, just because this was probably the second biggest deal of the deadline, was Adley Rutschman and Jake Rogers got traded to the Boston Red Sox for a smattering of players, including Carlos Narvaez and one of their top prospects, right? One of their top pitching prospects. I forget what his name is. I suppose I could look it up. But
it's like Ayerson or something, or Aiton or something. Like, I forgot what it is, something like that.
Yeah, it was kind of a strange last name. But so anyway, that was a kind of a strange one. Like you mentioned, Jeremy, we were both at work. I didn't even get to check my phone for this stuff until like after 5 p.m. But yeah, it was weird to see Rutschman traded to a division rival. There's not a lot of love lost between those AL East teams, especially Boston, Baltimore, and New York. So to see Adley go from Baltimore to Boston is pretty unexpected. And the Red Sox were out of it about a month and a half ago. So now to see them be buyers as well is strange. Obviously, they had the 15-game winning streak. So, yeah, just a strange turn of events in Boston. It's going to be weird to see Rutschman in a Red Sox jersey. But I guess he is a free agent after 2027 when there might not even be a season or most of one. So I guess there was no reason for the Orioles maybe not to explore their options.
Yeah, and that was a weird one. It's going to be weird seeing him. And it's funny, to move on to our next topic, Jack and I both, not together but separately, will be going to Baltimore to catch some Orioles games. Actually, we'll be going on consecutive nights, but not at the same night. And I don't know who's going to be left on that team.
No,
not much.
Yeah, it'll be strange vibes because it feels like them trading Adley is sort of not waving the white flag, but kind of moving on from that era of prospects that they had with him and Gunnar Henderson and Colton Cowser and Heston Kierstad and Jackson Holliday. So Adley was the core of those guys, and he's gone now. So I don't know what that means for the rest of those guys going forward. It seems like they still have most of them, although Gunner's not having a very good year this year. But it'll be
Jack. I know what it means for me. It means maybe a cheaper ticket than I would have paid like a week ago. So I'm glad I didn't buy my tickets yet.
Yeah, same actually. I have not purchased mine either. I'm going.
Nice.
The first game I'm going to, I think, is against the Yanks. I think the Rays is the second game. So I'm going Thursday and Friday. I think that's August 20th and 21st. Jeremy, you're going the Saturday of that week?
I'm going to the Saturday to the Orioles game, which is a Pete Alonso bobblehead giveaway day, which is kind of cool. And then that following Monday, I'll be going to the Nationals game, which are two stadiums that I haven't been to. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. It's too bad we couldn't make it work out to go to like a game at the same time. Although Jeremy, you'll be there with your wife, so I don't want to be a third wheel or anything like that. But it would have been fun to hang out before the game or something. But
we could have counted it for the podcast, and
we could have. Yeah, it would have been a fun and like kind of funny coincidence, but not going to happen. But who knows? Maybe we can do 2 solo episodes about it and compare who had the better experience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'll be cool.
So Jeremy, shall we get to the Yankees White Sox game?
Yeah, we shall. And I guess maybe if you're wondering why we spent 17 minutes on other topics, it's because this is somewhat of an uneventful game. Although there were still a few things that were pretty funny that happened.
There were, Jeremy. I don't like how buttoned up these White Sox games are getting. It's like the team. They get a few games over 500, and all of a sudden people start behaving themselves. I don't get it.
It's bad for the podcast.
Yes, it is. So I rolled in. I guess maybe about a half hour before game time. I guess I got there about 10 after 6. Coming from work, but I guess you got there a little after Gates, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I didn't even really leave work early. I worked till 5, but I work downtown, so it's a pretty straight shot to rate. But I got there, a little bit after Gates opened, and got down to the area. I wasn't even gonna go down there, but I saw that it wasn't ridiculously crowded, so I went down, and there was just no regulars there at all. Everyone has the good sense to not graph the Yankees, and the great grapher mentioned how he was. I'll be out of town that week. I made sure of that. So there's that. The only regular that I saw down there was none other than Team Ball. Team Ball was down there. We haven't seen Team Ball a lot this year, so
we haven't.
We haven't. It was
kind
of nice.
Surprising. Yeah, I saw him against the A's, but that was 2 months ago. So it was. I guess good to see him again, huh?
I think the only time I saw him was down the line in the park, and I don't know if it was it might have been against the A's or a different team, but yeah, he was there, and it was a friendly face to see, and he actually said hey man, if there's someone you're trying to get, I'll let you squeeze in here or whatever. So that was cool. Yeah. Team Ball's he's a non-offensive guy, he doesn't do anything to put you on your shit list. So
No,
so yeah, he was
he's
down
not
there.
going to be he's not going to be trying to cover up his face with his baseball or something like that. You know?
Yeah, just like cover his eyes with like 2 team balls. Like you can't see me.
Yeah, right.
Basically, it was it was about what you would expect. There was no BP going on. There were pitchers out there, and I ended up getting Paul Blackburn was out there, and so like I kind of like I had to really reach in there to get Paul Blackburn, but I ended up getting Paul Blackburn, and then Fernando Cruz came in, and I was able to grab him. I had already gotten him once. It was on a custom card, so he has since gotten like a major league card, and so I got that done. So that was it, just the two pitchers. But for the Yankees, it's better than nothing. And honestly, the only 2 times I've graphed the Yankees at Sox games, I've gotten autographs. So it's, I don't know, it's not an impossible task, I guess. So that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. That was you had kind of wrapped up your graphing right as I met up with you, and I didn't even know this. I knew it was $5 Tuesday, but I did not know that it was Grateful Dead night. I think that we've been to Grateful Dead night before, at least once. It might have been multiple times. I almost feel like it was 2 or 3 times. You just the note here is an incessant jangly guitar, and I think for a while I didn't even realize it was Grateful Dead night. I was just hearing this, and like any other night, like Beatles night, Elvis night, Beatles night, they get American English, but it's like they had a Grateful Dead cover band that was just kind of playing throughout the evening.
Yeah, they were playing. This isn't even before they announced that cover band. There was just like on the PA, there's just this like low volume like. And it's just like going on, and it's like it's enough to ignore it or to miss it, but once you hear it, it's like shut the hell up, like this is horrible. Like I can't stand the Grateful Dead. Like the only Grateful Dead song I remotely like is Touch of Grey, and that is like the least Grateful Dead song there is. Like I have no use for it. I can't stand it. And I'm an alternative music expert, according to Fox casting. But Jesus, man, like it's incessant. Like it's just going on, and like Gene Honda is like doing his announcements, and underneath it's just like and it's like it's horrible. I actually was glad when the band started, because at least that was like a full band sound. It's just that bed track of guitar, and I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if that is like a Grateful Dead song that they're playing that's like 25 minutes long, very possible, but it was horrible. And I was relieved when the band started, because at least that was like a full sound experience, I don't know.
Yeah, it's Jeremy. I feel like we're getting deja vu, because I think these same complaints were had like 5 years ago on this podcast. Like just that guitar that's just like that ambient noise, just the exact same thing. So
that's funny.
You can't avoid it though, man. It's inevitable. I feel like they haven't done Beatles night in a couple years, but they always have Elvis night. And Grateful Dead seems like a mainstay too. Just a bad night to go for sure. Yeah. You also got a little bit of food, so it was $5. $5 night. A bottle of soda, which I partook of. Polish, hot dog, nachos, a piece of pizza, all $5. So you got the Polish again.
Yeah, I got the Polish, and I don't remember I don't think I mentioned this on the A's episode, but I got a Polish that night. Those are the last 2 White Sox games we've been to, I believe. And I got a Polish that night as well. And I took a look at and you got a Polish too, and like right, or did you get a brat? I forget.
For the A's game, I got a brat.
Okay, so that's what threw me off. That's right, because I think you said brat, and I was thinking in my head Polish, Maybe you said Polish on accident. I don't know. But I was all mixed up, and like I looked at my Polish, and it looked like a hot dog. And I looked at your bratwurst, and I'm like, these are not the same thing. And so I actually went back to the guy. The guy was actually very nice to me. There was like a bunch of long lines, and he kind of got me in. And like I went back to him. I'm like, is this a Polish? He's like, yeah, it's a Polish. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then like I went on my merry way, but I couldn't help but notice that it was like smaller than it normally is. And so then I got but that was regular price night. I would have even accepted like on a $5 night that the Polish, they might, shirk on the side, like, like kind of like use like a smaller size one to save a few bucks. I wouldn't put it past Jerry. But yeah, so I don't know. So like it's been two different price levels, same like underwhelmingly sized Polish. So I'm calling shrinkflation on the White Sox with their Polishes. Like they look like barely bigger than, like, they look like a ballpark Frank. Like they don't look like they're barely bigger than a regular hot dog, and they're not as big as the Polishes used to be, I swear.
Yeah, that's strange, Jeremy. Sort of a rate field deflate gate here. Well, yeah, I'll have to try to figure that out one time. The bratwurst did seem, consistent with what I've had there before. So yeah, maybe it's just a Polish, man. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I guess for $5, you'd think maybe that's fine if they shrink it down, but not for regular price, and maybe not even for $5. One thing we'll say before we move on is that when we inevitably went into the upper deck, because it was hard to get seats in the lower, they were like pumping fumes from all of the vending stands into the upper deck.
Yeah.
It was hard to not it was hard to lay off if you wanted something extra. At one point, I think you were tempted to get nachos. So.
Yeah,
a lot of
the burger stand. They were charging, or they were charging. They were pumping the fumes from the burger stand out right into our section.
Yeah, it smelled good too. We were still in the lower deck for the national anthem, but we at this point we had gotten bounced from our seats twice already, and so we moved. We started in right field. We moved over to the kind of by third base, so we could see the White Sox players lined up. We had a good view of them for the national anthem. And I had never noticed this before, but Tristan Peters really stands at attention for the national anthem. I mean, the other guys, like, they kind of got their shoulders down. It's just, one game in 162, so nobody's being disrespectful, but they're not paying attention like Tristan Peters is. Let's just say if he ever gets traded to the Cubs, he's not going to be the guy that like trades hats with Clark, so he's got like that big ass hat over his heart or anything like that. But he's also not going to be the guy. If he ever goes to Wrigley Field, he's never going to have to worry about being slapped in the back of the head by some old guy because he's not standing up. So I think Tristan Peters is going to be okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about the back of his skull on that one. So.
We never talked about that, Jeremy, because I think that like it kind of came and went like between episodes, but that was a crazy like story for a week.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it's fraught with a lot of hard takes or hot takes. So I just assume not get too involved in it. But like, I mean, we've been in danger of that. Like, I've definitely like eaten some of my nachos during the anthem, and so like I'd hate to see what that guy would have done to me if I was just about to munch on a cheesy jalapeno-y nacho. But yeah, so that was an interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. I remember. Yeah. It was, and then like that guy gave an interview where he was like, yeah, like me and him, like we were fine, like he actually bought me a beer later. It's like, what, dude? No, that's crazy, but anyway, so yeah, Tristan Peters, national anthem. You mentioned a bad Yankees lineup, Jeremy, and it was it's just way less star-studded than what we're used to. So no Aaron Judge, no Cody Bellinger, no Big G, Giancarlo Stanton. So just it was very mid. I mean, they have Ben Rice is having a good year, but he's doesn't have the track record to be established at. Freaking Amed Rosario was at third base. Max Schuemann was in left field. These just aren't the type of guys you want to see if you come see the Yankees.
No, it was a disappointment for sure. Yeah, and not only was Rosario like playing third base, he was batting third. I mean, like, I'd like to see a list of all the 3 and 4 batters for the Yankees over the last like 25 years and see where Amed Rosario ranks in those lists. Like, that's got to be pretty low for the Yankees. Even Jason Dominguez is a cleanup guy. I'm sure they thought he'd be like a cleanup guy for them, but not like, different overall career outlooks than who he was, like the version of him at this game. Yep. So it was a bummer. Spencer Jones didn't even get the start, and he ended up hitting like homers, I think, in like maybe like 2 or 3 straight games. And he hit one against the Cubs as well. Yeah. So I don't know. It was a kind of a bummer. Jack, I feel like I need to digress again really quick. But I ended up going to the Cubs Yankees Saturday night game, courtesy of some free tickets that I won. And I won them at a signing at our local Jewel grocery store by Wrigley Field. On Saturday afternoon, there was a signing. Albert Almora was signing at Jewel from like 1 to 2 p.m. And I had just gotten Albert Almora at the World Series reunion. I dropped that mini-sode over the weekend. So if you haven't heard that, go back and listen to it. Go back and listen to it for at least the story about meeting a celebrity. That I told at the end of that episode, which I think is a pretty fun story. But yeah, I was at this signing for Albert Almora. It was running at the same time as the National Card Convention that was in town this weekend. I ended up not going to that just because I couldn't like motivate myself to go. There just wasn't like anything that could really draw me there for the prices and the crowds. And anyway, so I'm like, oh yeah, that Almora signing is happening, so let me go to that. And I was in line, and the guy goes, like, here's a raffle ticket we're gonna give away some tickets here, and they did 2 drawings for 2 pairs, and like the second one went to the woman in front of me. Like, I had number 114, and the woman who had 113 right in front of me got it. And I was like so mad that I just missed it. And then, Jack, they said that they were going to do another drawing. And so I stuck around. And there was a guy who came up to me. And he's a grapher, Jack. I don't know if you like. It's not a guy we talk about on the podcast a lot. But I've seen him at South Bend games and maybe even at Beloit games. And we don't ever really talk. Like, I've asked him like questions and he's answered, and vice versa. But like, he's just like a grapher, like in the fringe, like in the edges. He saw me and he's like, hey, are you staying for the raffle? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, here you go. Like, you can have my tickets. Like, I'm leaving. And it turns out that one of the tickets he gave me was the one that hit for me to win the tickets. So that was pretty cool. If I see that guy again, I'll have to tell him that I won with his ticket. But anyway, long story short, I got to see the Yankees twice on this homestand, and they trotted out the same piss poor lineup. That's my whole point of telling that story. Like, Amed Rosario was batting third again. Ben Rice wasn't even in the lineup for that game. It was just
was that the game David Peterson started?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so yeah, they did start Jones at least for that game, right?
They did, and he hit. No, he didn't. I think he hit a homer the next day or the day before. I can't remember, but okay. But yeah.
That's interesting, Jeremy. I think I was watching quite a bit of that game just because it was on Fox. And so I caught some of it. So that was Nico Horner homered in that game, right?
He did, and actually Spencer Jones did homer in that game. Yeah, they both did.
That's what I thought. Yep. Yeah. I missed it, but I remember them talking about it. So yeah, that's cool, Jeremy. One thing I will say is Garrett Cole, at the very least, started this game for the Yankees. I know that he's coming off of an injury and stuff, but he's at least kind of a bigger name. So,
Yeah,
if nothing else, it was good to see him. That might be the first time we've seen him for the podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, because I was curious about that as well, and it was indeed, because I forgot that one Pirates game we saw him start was not for the podcast.
Yeah, forgive my language, but that was a long fucking time ago. That was like 2015. That was like 2015, man.
Yeah, it was. That's crazy that a guy could have stuck around for that long. So, yeah.
I know, just long careers. So there were a few fan shenanigans. There was a mom taking pics just right at the start of the game. That was pretty annoying.
Yeah, like she was taking. They were seated in their seats at least, but she was taking she would take selfies of her and her son. And then she took one, and then she had to redo it, of course. And then she maybe took one of the field, and then she took one of her and the husband. And they each, the way it was timed out is she put her arm in the air during the first 4 pitches of the game. Literally the first 4 pitches. Each time was a pitch. It was a new picture. And I was just and after the third one, I'm like, all right, well, I'm good. I'm glad that she's, taking a picture for literally every pitch of this game so far. And then she reloaded, and I saw it coming, and she took one for on the 4th pitch, and I was just beside myself. So it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad. That the whole experience was annoying. I think there was just a lot of build up to that, just because we tried to sit in right field. We got bounced from there. We tried again in right field, got bounced from those seats. Mm-hmm. Eventually decided, okay, let's go see if we can just go to the first base side. So we sat all the way up in the lower deck, basically. We sat in the second to last row, if not the last one. Yeah. We were there for the national anthem. And then this lady says to her kid, she just kind of comes in, stands right by us, and goes to her kid. She goes, oh, they're in our seats right now. And so I said to you, Jeremy, I was like, okay, man, I think we're getting bounced. And then we start to stand up, and she says again, oh, they're in our seats. So she's talking to us like we're not there, but we are there, and she's saying it loud enough for us to hear her. And I wanted to say, it was coming out of my mouth, but I wanted to say, we heard you the first time, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And so, that was super annoying. It was 2 moms and two little kids. And so whatever, we get out of our seats. I think we're both annoyed and kind of frustrated because it's the 3rd time we've been kicked out. And at that point we realized, well, we have to just go up to the upper deck. But as we were getting bounced from these seats, some guy gets your attention. A guy from 10 seats down in the next section sees the shirt you're wearing and says, oh, hey man, nice shirt. It was what shirt were you wearing, dude? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a Pavement shirt, the band Pavement.
Okay.
So it's a weird shirt. It's it says Pavement sunny side up, and it's 2 eggs, 2 sunny side up eggs. And it was funny that Pavement just played over the weekend in Chicago, and I had actually missed that show just because actually it was during the week, but I was really busy with work, and so it's the first time I've missed them since I got into them as a band. So I was wearing that shirt, and then it's as we were getting bounced, right in front of the ladies who bounced us, this guy goes hey man, nice shirt. And I'm like, hey, thanks man. And so it was a nice instant redemption / validation. So that was just a funny turn of events. And I like to think that the woman who bounced us was yeah, I guess he does have, oh, I guess people like his shirt, whatever.
Yeah, it was strange too, because at first when we were being bounced, we were so obviously being removed from these seats that I almost thought the guy was heckling us or something. Yeah. But then it turned out that he just liked your shirt. Yeah. So yeah, it was just definitely a weird 180 right there. Sort of a nice exit from the lower deck for us. One thing we should note is that so the game was going on at this point. And I think what happened was we didn't move up to the upper deck right away, but we moved a couple rows down. Mm-hmm. But we realized, we're only doing this because the game just started and we wanted to wait for the half inning. But we're going to get bounced from these 2. We just need to go up. So we did wait for the half inning. And so we right when the half inning ends, I think it was the bottom of the first inning, right when the bottom of the first ends is when we decide to go up to the upper deck. And Jeremy, we didn't get up to seats of any kind until 2 batters into the second inning. That we very well almost missed a half inning just trying to get up to the upper deck at Rate Field.
Yeah. It's interminable. Like it's all ramps, just like any other stadium these days. But like, I swear to God, they have like extra ramp. It's extra like 2 to 4 levels of ramp that you go up. I swear that you're going up that much more before you get to the upper deck. It's just like miles away. But you're going straight up in the air. It's daunting.
It is. I don't know what it is about Wrigley Field, but we can make it down there like by the start of a half inning. Like we can make it down there in like a minute and a half. Maybe just because we know our way around there so well. But Rate Field is a different beast. One other fan thing that was kind of humorous. This was during the second half of the game, but there were these 2 guys. They looked like brothers. They both had mustaches and like long brown hair. And like they were wearing like maybe the White Sox Chicago Bulls jerseys or something similar. Like they were dressed similarly too. They're both drinking beers, and it was a similar thing to our Justin Sterner A's buddy, where they came up to our section and they were lower, but they just couldn't seem to figure out where they were supposed to sit. And so instead of being proactive and just sitting down or trying to get a hold of somebody, they just stood with their backs to the field and just kind of hung out for like 2 innings.
Yeah, they were up there with like the posture, the body language of like, whatever, we'll just hang out here until until what, I don't know actually, like until they magically remember where they're seated. Someone like near them is like, hey guys, you were over here, come this way. Like they were just standing there, and like it was just that's not surprising anymore at this point, but it just it makes you shake your head a little bit.
There was no sense of urgency.
No, absolutely not. And they were good. They were there for a good long time. It was crazy.
Yes. Yeah, it was baffling. Completely with their backs to the field, no interest in what was going on. And what was actually a pretty close game. The final score was 3-2, but only because the White Sox, Chase Meidroth hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth against David Bednar. It wasn't enough. But, it was a close game, so not a blowout by any means. White Sox didn't really do anything for the first 8 innings. A good game. We were a little far away. And it was a pretty crisp game, too. It was under 3 hours. But we had to get out of there and when the game ended. And so we had a long trek down all of those interminable ramps. Finally, we get out to the parking lot area, and it was bedlam, Jeremy. Yeah. Just people walking every which way, every direction. There was no rhyme or reason. And then somewhere along the lines, you were the immovable object, and some other guy was the unstoppable force, and y'all shoulder checked each other.
Yeah, I saw this guy coming, so I was like, at least I knew what I was signing up for. But like this guy was a complete asshole. Like in this like mob scene like that you described, Jack. Like people were just going every which way. There was no like distinct like. Eastbound, westbound flow of people. It's just like, it was just a crisscross. It was like a plaid, just hashtag like pattern of people going. And this guy is just walking in a straight line as if like he is the fucking master of this crowd. And I'm like, fuck this guy, man. And I'm not going to move. And like he did shoulder check me. So that was, that was, I guess, his victory, I guess. But, I would like to think that people would say, like, hey, man, that guy took it, like, but it's just like, what a dickhead. It is what it is. But yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy, Jeremy. You didn't give the guy an inch, but I hate people who do that, man. It's really obnoxious, who just refuse to get out of somebody's way. So good for you for standing your ground there. That was funny. Yeah, so that was really all that happened during the game. The red line was insane. Like literally, it was backed up at a complete standstill. Like at the street walking up to the red line. So we did the green line. The green line was more crowded than usual too, so our secret was out. But we got home generally without conflict, and so that ends the experience.
Which you can't. You can't always say that about the green line or any line really coming from the White Sox. So yeah.
No. Especially not our last trip or two on the green line. But that's not for the podcast. So anyway, we do have another game lined up. It's going to be next week. I think we're going to be going on Wednesday, August 13th versus the Cincinnati Reds. We might have some familiar company at that game too. Jeremy, the episode, because the game is on Wednesday, and just because we may both have things going on over the next couple days after that, the episode may be delayed by about a half a week or so.
Yeah, I'd say maybe like a couple days. But like normally we drop on Wednesdays. This summer we've been dropping on Thursdays, kind of because of work schedule. But I think we won't be able to record till Thursday night at the earliest. So actually, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But when we can record. But we will have a recap of that Reds game coming up, and we'll be right back at it.
Yeah, heck yeah. So for this week's episode of Rain Delay Theater, I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
We'll see you next time.
Later.